But all right, everybody, welcome to episode 8 of the Ready Set Lag podcast. A little bit different today. Instead of Nick, we have Turk, the
Let's
Don, aka
go.
All Thighs
You're
here.
stuck with me.
I'm
Me
stuck
and
with
all of
you.
my thighs, baby.
So it was actually really funny. We were at the airport in Dallas, and a dude walked by, like tank top bro, you know what I mean? Like
Okay.
big
Okay.
dude, short, like really short, showing off his
Please.
thighs. And
Please tell me.
and I'm sitting
Oh
there and
man.
I'm filming, I'm not filming, I'm on my Switch playing Pokemon. And
Typical.
yeah,
Typical.
and my wife just like looks, turns back, she says, Turk?
Oh my
She
gosh.
was like, I dare you to take a picture and send that to Turk. And I was like, I'm not gonna take a picture of this dude just walking in the airport. But yeah, we got some exciting things to talk about today.
Yes. Yes, we do.
Um, the first thing we're going to talk about is PlayStation Plus free game. It was devastating for the developers at Oddworld Inhabitants. The co-founder said that the putting it on Sony's Game Pass or their PlayStation Plus was devastating monetarily to them. Um,
That's such a buzzword, devastating.
yeah, I mean it is, but I had this feeling back when like Xbox Game Pass and all this kind of stuff was going on. I was like, there's no way that these developers are going to make the money that they need because they're not selling their game. They're obviously signing some kind of deal with Sony
Yes.
or Microsoft, and they're getting upfront cash, and then that's all they get. And then we get this article that that's exactly what happened. We needed money to complete the project, and we thought we'd done a pretty good deal. Turns out the game gets close to 4 million downloads and they lost out on all that money. But the thing I will say, I don't think that they would have sold 4 million copies
Without the deal.
without the deal because it said for free. That's the thing. When I get on Xbox Game Pass or I get on the PlayStation Plus store, I always check and see what's free to download, and if it looks halfway interesting, I download it because it's free. So if this would not have been on the PlayStation Plus like subscription stuff where they could download it, I don't think 4 million people were going to pay them for this game.
Okay.
But it brings up an interesting point to where you have things that like people are discussing on whether or not like the new God of War is going to be on PlayStation Plus or the new subscription service.
Right. Well, we talked about that
We did.
before.
I don't think it will. And I think this is why because they know
How
that
much
they're
money they can make off of it.
yeah, they know their game's gonna sell well. Why they don't need to be on the subscription service, but it is a Sony exclusive. It is a Sony owned studio. So I feel like they're debating. There are so many strongly worded emails being sent out in the Sony headquarters right now and being like, no, we have to make this amount of money. We need these kind of bonuses this year. And Sony's like, we own you, so
You're gonna do what
you're
we
gonna do
say.
what we say. But
Exactly.
this is literally I'm glad that this story came out because this is something that me and Nick have talked about even before we even started Ready Set Lag. I was like,
Right.
these game passes are great for us, right? Which at the end of the day, we're the consumer. So, if it works for us, it works for us. But if I'm a studio head and I'm looking at this article and also those people talk to each other. It doesn't matter if you're owned by Sony or you're Microsoft. Those people who work for those studios talk to each other.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you something like this has been discussed, especially on these like Horizon and like all of these like huge Sony games and then over to Xbox, right? Like I guarantee you they're sitting there like, I wonder what Halo would have sold if we weren't on the Game Pass, right? Like how much money, because they would have killed it.
Right. I mean, that's the expectation, right? Especially with uh been so long in between Halo games, right? How much could you have really profited off of a standalone Halo game versus attaching it to the pass? And I think this is, like you said, this is where Sony is struggling internally, uh between the creators of these games and the developers and then the actual company itself. I don't know what they're gonna do with God of War, man, to be honest. And I mean, it's good for us, as you said. If it goes to the pass, consumers win. Consumers win, right?
Absolutely.
Otherwise, it's gonna be the same status quo as it is now. So I don't think there's gonna be any real change for consumers. So it's not like we're losing out if it doesn't go to the pass, which we would like to see it go to the pass.
But
But if
I
it
but I
doesn't, people are still gonna buy.
they're still gonna buy it, but then it also you have to look at it as, are people going to sign up for it if it doesn't have those games, right? So this is like the thing with like, yeah,
You
this is
think they
why
might
I
do a give and take? You think they might do a little give and take, like maybe Horizon to the pass, God of War not to the pass?
well, see, I think they would have, because they're different studios, right?
Right.
Horizon's made by Gorilla, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like d- they're probably having to have these conversations with each different studio. Like, yeah, you're all owned by Sony, but you have your own studio heads, you have your own development team. Like, they're not working together, right? Like the people making God of War and the people making Horizon. So it's like, what I feel like they're going to do is they're going to say, okay, for the first month God of War comes out, you have to buy it, right? But then if you are somebody who was not going to spend that money on the game anyways, then after a month, it's going on their Game Pass. I think that's the only
Or
thing they can really do, because I think they're gonna
or
miss out on a lot of money.
what they could do is if you purchase the game, you get certain exclusives in games, whether skins, weapons, things of that nature, right?
Well,
Early
yeah,
access, obviously. And then if you don't buy the game itself, so like you don't make a standard game for sale type thing. You know what I'm saying? And then you're like your deluxe or your epic or legendary or collector's edition, whatever you want to call it, whatever type of edition, that is the one that you're selling to the consumers. Right? That
yeah,
is the
and
game
like with
that's
the
being sold.
figures on it and all that, like you get
Right,
the
right,
Kratos
right.
figure. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
See,
And
I could see
then
them doing that.
to the pass would be the standard game edition. Like, cool, you'll get access to the game, but you're not getting access to everything else that
I
comes
just
with it.
I just don't know that this is something I'm very interested to see. Like, I want to see how this plays out, but I don't, for someone like Nick, who loves God of War. Like, I could see him buying the $120 version with like all the special stuff. But for like a regular consumer who just wants to play games, like
Right,
I
right.
feel like they're gonna lose out on that. And I feel like that's the discussion they're having. They're like, okay, like God of War sold this amount on the PlayStation 4, right? Like, are we willing to give that up? For Sony footing the bill for this game, for them
Right.
to not make, but potentially with the Game Pass making more money, right? Like, it's like, how are they going to do that? I see it being timed. So in the article, I think it was timed um, for a certain amount of time, and they did it because of COVID and delays and all those kind of things. So at the
Yeah.
time, I could see them thinking this was a great idea. Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, for a whole month. Yeah, so it was a month they had. So I see them doing that. I see that being the norm with their studios, being like, okay, guys. But with the bigger studios, I see them being like, okay, so it's going to be reverse, right? For 1 month, you're not going to be on the pass, but then after that month, the game's coming on.
Do you think it would have to be longer than a month then? Because I feel like a month is, as a consumer, I can sit there and be like, go ahead, play it. I can wait a month.
Yeah, but what else are they going to? I don't know. I really
You know
don't
what I'm
know.
saying? Like I
Yeah,
can wait a month. Especially now, like look at the economy right now.
that's true. That's a
People are
very,
starting
yeah,
to be a little bit more frugal. I mean, the consumer will still pay, right? The companies know this. Consumers will still pay regardless of the economy status, right? But we do have to consider the average consumer, which makes up the majority.
yeah, that's right.
It's like, and if I'm a parent, right, and a kid's coming to me and is like, I want to play God of War, and I do my research, it's like, oh, I'll tell you what, buddy, in a month we'll buy it because you'll have access to it through the Game Pass, which I'm only paying what, $10 for?
19.99 for the
Okay,
games.
$20 for the
But
all access.
for all of the games, not just
All right, so
God of War.
20 bucks. Pay 20 bucks. Because guess what? Are you going to beat the game within 3 months? If the answer is yes, and I paid 20 bucks over 3 months, I just look at that. There's my investment right there.
Yeah, exactly.
There
And
it is.
also, you pay $20 or whatever it is for the Game Pass, and let's say they beat the game in a month, they have a bunch of other games to play.
Bunch of other games to play.
So
You see what I'm saying? And they got to be thinking about this because you're going to lose money.
yeah,
Consumers are going to win either way, right? Because like I said, the status quo isn't going to change. Either we're going to keep buying these games
Or we're gonna get them
right?
for free in a
Or
month.
we're gonna get it for free in a month
Yeah,
on,
exactly. I mean,
on
that's
Game Pass.
true. I just want to see what they like, how they do it. Like, I want to see what their thought process is behind it, because I can see it in a business mindset. I could be like, oh man,
But
that's a lot of money.
you
But
remember the days where we used to wait in line at GameStop
absolutely, the last time I
and we would
waited in line was the first Destiny.
ah and we would get the collector's editions, like,
Absolutely, dude. I
oh
needed
my
that booklet.
gosh,
I needed
dude.
that the big book
Yes,
that
there would
came, the
always
art
be a
book.
booklet.
Yeah,
There
I
would
needed
always be a
all that stuff.
booklet. Yes. So I'm thinking in terms of that, I could see them doing like, okay, a collector's edition. We're gonna do a collector's edition for sale, and then you'll have access for those who don't want to pay the extra money for these editions. But then you're gonna have to push out more collector's editions.
Yeah, you're gonna
But
have to
people,
be. You're
but
gonna have to
people
be a
will
little
buy
careful.
it.
People
People
go
will. I
crazy
think.
over those things, dude.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. And then a new God of War on a next gen system. Come on.
So, leading from that conversation back to another, like talking about Sony, Sony invests $1 billion into Epic Games.
Let's go.
So, this is by far the largest investment Sony has made in Epic Games. But in July of 2020, they invested 250 million, and in April of 2021, they invested 200 million.
Right.
Um, and it's they say it's for new digital fan experiences in sports and our virtual production. It's the metaverse stuff, right? That's what they're investing in. And then obviously we'll talk about it later, but Epic,
Yes.
Unreal Engine 5, like Epic seems to be it's the revive of Fortnite that happened before our eyes. Like,
Listen, can I just say something about Fortnite real
what's
quick
up? What's up?
since we're on the topic of Epic?
Go
We
ahead.
said this way in the beginning with Fortnite when Ninja was popping, like as he was just coming to the status that he achieved, right? With the game Fortnite, I was like, man, I don't like all this building, but just like fighting somebody is a lot of fun,
It's like the
right?
the feeling that you get in certain games, right? And I'll go to like Hunt Showdown, which is the game that I play most of the time when I'm not playing games for reviewing.
Yeah.
When they get the gun, like if it's a shooter or a competitive FPS, whatever it is, if it has guns and you're facing somebody, when they get the feeling like the fighting, I don't know how to word this right, because Hunt Showdown, like I'll stop playing for a while. I'll get into one good team fight. I'll be like, oh, that's why I play this game all the time, because it's so satisfying. Fortnite, whenever you get into a really, really good fight, has that same feeling of
Yes.
this is enjoyable. But what sucked me out of Fortnite was you
The
shoot
building.
somebody and then they build
They
like
just
the
build
Taj
up.
Mahal,
Oh
like right
my
in front of
gosh,
you,
bro.
and I stopped playing it.
You're just
So
like this isn't fun.
but Epic Games is making good decisions. I hate their storefront. I always will. But they're making the right decisions. You've got Sony realizing they're making the right decisions. They're investing all this money into Epic Games. Epic Games releases the Unreal Engine 5. And then the people who made Lego, $1 billion investment.
Yo, Lego games sell. All my son's Nintendo Switch games are Legos.
But like Epic Games is doing something right. I feel like they have stuff that we've not even seen yet, right? I feel like these companies know something and they're pumping money into them.
You know what?
The
I'm
Witcher game,
hoping I'm hoping before we get to that, I'm really hoping we're getting like a Sword Art Online soon.
the
Like some
game.
type of concept of that nature where you dial in virtually and then you just go play.
I
Like picture that, a
I've
virtual
said this.
MMORPG. Oh,
I was just talking to Nick
oh
about
my
this stuff.
gosh, dude.
I think
Oh,
it's the time now. With VR stuff, because we're talking
right.
about this, and it said the virtual stuff. Talking about VR, I was very much against VR way back, like right when the Oculus started coming out. I was like, dude, this stuff
Yeah,
is
because it was
stupid.
terrible.
Yeah, it
It was
was
so
cool.
terrible.
Like if a friend had it, you'd put the thing on, be like, oh, that's cool, but I'm not spending $900 on this, right? Like it's not worth the money. It's
Yeah,
coming to the
exactly.
point now with how affordable some of the headsets are going. I really, really want one. We moved the office, which you guys have not seen yet. The people who watch me on Twitch, Extra Large Hot Dog, they've seen my room before. But I literally have cleared out a space in the middle. Like we have nothing in the middle of the room, just in case we ever get a VR headset. We have the space
That's
for it.
fair. That's
because
fair.
it's getting to the point now I'm excited to see. I no longer roll my eyes when a game says they're making a VR studio's making a VR game. I'm like, "Oh, I hope it's cool." Like cuz I'm almost to that point to where I'm like, "Okay, I need to get one." Like I'm getting there.
Like,
Um
with the perfect segue here, could you
Absolutely.
imagine a VR game on the new Unreal Engine 5?
That's what I'm saying with what we just said about the PlayStation investment, right? Of $1
Right.
billion, Lego $1 billion. Dude, Legoland VR, bro. I'm telling you, this is what they're doing. It's going to be made in Unreal Engine 5. Like they're doing some crazy stuff. And Unreal Engine 5, if you guys have not seen the cinematic test and the things that this engine can do, you have CD Projekt Red, who we will also talk about a little later on, but you have them saying Witcher 4 is going to be made. They're leaving their proprietary engine that they built in-house for Unreal Engine 5,
And
right?
that's
Because
crazy.
and that's
That's crazy
nuts
to me.
because they're having to pay the engine is so crazy, and this is something that, if you get these smaller devs who don't have the resources to make their own engine, you
Right.
understand it a little more. You're like, okay, they'd rather pay the licensing fees because they can't do it without it, right? A company like CD Projekt Red or a studio like them have their own engine that they've developed, and they're like, you know what? Unreal Engine 5 is so nuts. We're gonna pay the licensing fees to make our games in it, and
Yes.
that's crazy. And I want to see. We were talking before. You were saying you watched a video about World of Warcraft being made in Unreal
Oh
Engine.
my gosh, yes. And that was guess who that was? It was just a single artist working on that project, giving us that demo. Wasn't a studio, right? There was no development team. It was a one-person job that did this. And I'm gonna send you the video because I want you to see it. Could you imagine? And we talk about it all the time when it comes to World of Warcraft, right? If that game can be brought to the times, could you imagine the amount of people that would just play that game?
Oh, dude, like
Even
just
though it's
watching.
already even though it's already the biggest game played, right? It's already one of the most played games out there, even in 2022. Just imagine with those graphics. Oh my gosh,
Well,
dude.
you have and also this is another really cool thing that's in the article, that all the links to the articles we talked about will be in the description of whatever you're listening to this on. But I didn't actually know this. It's another reason Epic, I think, is on the right track here. Unreal Engine 5 is actually free to use and does not collect royalties on indie games until they've earned over $1 million. So that's dope. So that's might be why some of these companies choose to use Unreal Engine. But back to I just read that and I wanted to say it. But
Right, right,
talking
right.
about World of Warcraft, there's a lot of games that I feel like if they upgraded to make things like World of Warcraft is old, right? And there's no getting around it. The graphics are just old. I still enjoy them because there's a little bit of nostalgia. That's why I still play RuneScape.
Right,
Like
right.
it's nostalgic to me. But if you're trying to get like a younger generation of people to play a game, they're gonna look at the graphics of World of Warcraft and be like, "Nah, I'm fine." Right. And I talked about this in the review that will be up on Friday for Ghostwire Tokyo. Will be up on our YouTube channel. Graphics have never been the most important thing to me. Like I've always been able to look past graphics, aka me playing RuneScape my entire life. But when you
Right.
have something as gorgeous as Ghostwire Tokyo was absolutely breathtaking with their visuals. But when you have something as beautiful as like stuff that can be made in Unreal Engine 5, it's definitely one of the first talking points, right? Like, oh my God, this game looks incredible. And if you can get people saying, oh my God, World of Warcraft looks incredible in Unreal Engine 5, but it also still has the gameplay that was addicting to so many people of World of Warcraft, you're instantly back at the top of just every game, like of MMOs, of video games in general, because a million people are going to download that game to play. So,
So
or
are
more
you
than a
now
million.
is there gonna be a concern, right? I'm concerned that because of how nice Unreal Engine 5 is and just how out of this world crazy that everything that's built into that engine, that the capabilities that it's giving these developing studios, are we gonna get duped a lot on games?
What do
I'm
you mean
cons
duped?
Are we gonna be duped? They're gonna come out with these beautiful gameplay footages and these,
Oh, yeah, I
you
see.
know what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah,
saying?
yeah. Like
And then guess what? Then we get the game and it's complete trash
you talk
because that's
about.
how it is now.
Shout out Ubisoft, dude. They're the worst at downgrading, like from trailers like E3, and then they like the
And they
E3
run
watch like
off of Unreal Engine.
does it? I actually don't know. Does it? Let's see.
Like, Go ahead, pull it up.
Ubisoft Watch Dogs. Let's see if it runs off of it. Does it say what engine it uses? I mean, it's something I would believe. Watch Dogs video game. What engine does it use? It normally just says it right here. Well, I could just Google Watch Dogs engine. The Disrupt engine. Ha!
Oh, they don't? Wait, hold on. What about Assassin's Creed? What do they use?
I think they use no, I think
Let me see. Because I could have been reading something different.
Anvil game engine.
Okay.
Well,
Wrong
that's
company then.
the
Not
first one though.
Ubisoft. Not Ubisoft.
That's the first one. Hold on, let's see. What was the newest games? Assassin's Creed.
Right.
Valhalla, which I've still not played. Yeah, they're using the Anvil engine, so they are using their own engine. But once again, that goes to show you that these big studios, and CD Projekt Red being the first one that's like we're ditching our own studio. They made this engine for their games. But I see what you're saying is, you've got these games, just the downgrade in general, right? That seems to be like a thing with some of these studios where they show off something and then you get it and it's not what you expect, right?
Right. And picture with the capabilities of Unreal Engine 5, how much worse that's going to get. That's a concern for me.
Well, going to studios talking about this, we're going to talk about CD Projekt Red delays Witcher 3 for PS5 and the next gen consoles. And
here we go.
So this is something that really, really irritates me. Now, granted, the reason that they're switching is because they had a Saber Interactive was making it, which made the Witcher 3 Switch port. So they had them making the port to next gen with all these upgrades. And I guess somewhere along in the development, they were like, okay, you're not doing... I'm assuming, I don't have anything saying that this is exactly what they said, but I'm assuming you guys are sucking at this and we're just going to take it over. But the problem with this is, and this is a problem with studios in general, is why are you talking about something being released when you don't even know that it's going to be done? That is something that makes me really... Like, I would rather you not tell me something is going on for 2 years and taking your time developing something, and then you release a trailer and said, hey, the game's done. It's coming out in 6 months, right? Like, the game was completely done. It's play tested. Everything's done. Comes out in 6 months. And exactly on that date when they said it was going to come out, it releases. I don't understand studios. And now that goes back... Everybody, and I was excited about it, I'm not going to lie, when they announced the new Elder Scrolls game. It's cool that they said it, right? They didn't give us a date, but they were like, hey, we're working on it.
Right.
That's cool, right? To be like, we're working on it. Dude, I can't even begin. There's so many examples of studios saying a game's going to come out, especially in this like post... Well, I don't even think we're post-pandemic.
Just the past decade.
Yeah,
decade.
Saying a game's going to come out on this day, and then they push it back, and they push it back, and they push it back, and then they have the old saying, I forgot who said it, but they were like, a game delayed can eventually be good, but a game like released that's terrible is always going to have that baggage. Like Cyberpunk 2077, right? I thought it was fantastic, but I didn't play it until all the updates were done. Because I waited. That was a huge hit to me. I love CD Projekt Red. I was very devastated by the news, and I'm glad I didn't pre-order it.
Right.
But they did the same thing. They announced a date, and they kept pushing it back, and then they released it, and it was unready. Why not just... Dude, they had the trailer for that game back in, like, 2013. 2012 or something like that. And then the trailer looks nothing like the game was, obviously. They didn't even... Then you have Anthem. I just talked about this on Twitter.
Oh, man. Don't get me started on Anthem.
They said a game was coming out. They have a trailer at E3, and the people the EA Experience Play or whatever their thing was whenever E3 was going on. The game dev said, oh, that's what we're working on, because they didn't even know. They didn't even know what game they were working on. That's the first time they had seen the trailer. So there's just things that these studios are doing, and I don't like it. And it's like what you were saying earlier about them like releasing stuff and then it being downgraded. That's another thing they do. And then we were talking earlier about the podcast that didn't get released, the last one you were on,
Right.
about Gran Turismo, like putting out a game to be reviewed and then having the store blocked. And then whenever the game comes out, there's all these microtransactions. There's a lot of things going on with the gaming world that I just don't like. This right here is one of them. While I get their point that if the reason they didn't release the game is because they were like, hey, this is terrible and we're not going to release
Yeah.
this. But I'd rather them just say that, like, hey, we handed this over to another company to do because we're working on Witcher 4 and the Cyberpunk 2077, but it's so bad that we're having to take it over. But now you just look like, why'd you even announce it? Like, why'd you even say a date? Like, and you know what's crazy is that it says it's not going to come out in quarter 2. Unless I postponed quarter 2 release until further notice. Yeah. It's already quarter 2.
Yes, we quarter two started roughly 13 days ago.
So why are you just now figuring this out? Like that's stuff I just don't like. And it's stuff that's really making me question. That's why one reason we started this whole thing with Ready Set Lag is because we want to talk about stuff like this. This is stuff that just really bothers me. I hope it comes out and I hope it's great, but I'm starting to not trust any studio anymore, to
Right.
be honest with you. But that's all for the news today. I told everybody we
What'd you
re-recorded
tell
the
him?
podcast with just me and Nick because you couldn't be there that day. And I said, hey, he's still coming back to give you a and you have a little bit more to talk about too because they just said it's not the end, right? They're doing another whatever. But the Attack on Titan review, I said it's very the best way to put this. You're gonna get a lot of hate about it, right? Because I feel like this is a lot of people's favorite anime.
Let it come. Let it come because
But,
you know what?
uh-huh, uh-huh.
I'm being completely objective. I'm taking a very objective standpoint when it comes to anime because I can play the bias card all day long,
Yeah, because
right?
then all
And
you were
sit here
talking
and
about
say
My Hero.
exactly. And I haven't even done a My Hero review,
You haven't.
so I don't want to hear nothing about
2 out
bias.
of
If you
10.
okay, there, buddy. Hold on. First of all, we're not there yet. Let's focus on Attack on Titan. So welcome to the Uwu Corner.
This is his corner.
This is my
We
corner.
picked him up and we just kind of put him there and we were like,
They
okay,
did.
do stuff.
And then you know what they actually said? I'm blinking twice right now for help. They keep me in the corner chained up.
Yeah,
And
we
they
don't let
say,
him out.
you're not allowed to get out and speak unless Nick has to take a last minute babysitting gig and we need you to
Exactly.
fill in.
Exactly.
That's
And then we
exactly,
also and
exactly
when
what
we
happened.
said he couldn't make it, it's because we actually lost the key at the mall, so he was just kind of stuck there for a little while.
Seriously. Seriously. But
But
let's
Uwu
get into
corner,
it,
Attack
man.
on Titan,
Uwu
let's go.
corner. So Attack on Titan. So before we had microphone issues,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I actually gave it a 4.2 out of 5,
That's
which
not
I think
bad
is a
though.
fair assessment.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment.
Okay. And I'm going to stick with that 4.2 out of 5.
Okay. All
Here's
right.
here's why, right?
Okay,
Here's
lay it
why.
on me.
Okay. So the
Uh,
reason why we're going 4.2 out of 5, overall, the anime is a beautifully done created artwork in terms of animation, right? In terms of just how they're able to kind of create these certain scenes. And looks like, for example, the fight where Levi is fighting through the city and they're fighting people for the first time. He's fighting an older Ackerman guy, and he's like weaving and bobbing through these streets and doing his thing. And the way they're able to kind of spin that camera and kind of give you those different angles, it's just seeing those moments like that is all throughout this anime. So it's a beautifully done and rendered anime, right? Storyline, you can't go wrong with the storyline. It's just beautifully told. It definitely keeps you wanting more. And like, if you don't read the manga, you don't know what's going to happen. So you can't go wrong there either. The
well,
fan
what's
base is great.
I was gonna say
Fan
what's
base is great.
the you're talking about
What's the
the
downfall?
yeah, yeah,
What's the
yeah, yeah, yeah,
downfall?
yeah, which
So
is
I'm,
now
I'm
more
gonna get
evident.
there. I want to talk about the good things
Okay,
first, though.
okay, okay, go
I
on.
think the fandom is really strong, obviously, right? 4.2 might be a little low for them, right? They'll be like, yo, 6 out of 5, bro. It is what
It's
it
a
is, right?
9 out of 5, dude.
Yeah. 12 out of 5, bro. 12 out of 5. It's like, listen, guys, I get it. I get it. You love it. Okay. You know what the problem is for me? And I think the most important thing when it comes to anime, because it's a consumer's market. And right now, there's a big lull in anime, unless you go searching for things that you don't normally watch,
There
or if you
is.
start expanding upon
100%,
genres. There's a
100%.
huge lull right now, with the exception of Rising of the Shield Hero season 2, which
Already watched the first episode,
let's
baby.
go. But we're not going to talk about that right now.
No, 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 we gotta wait.
Focus on Attack on Titan. Consistency is a problem for me. When
Absolutely.
I say consistency, I mean this. If you compare it to like a My Hero Academia that's able to push out manga consistently, they're able to push out movies. God bless, they have 3 movies already, right? And their seasons, they stay consistent. Hey, you're going to watch your season next year, you're going to get the next season. Year after that, next season, right? That is consistency that I like. Attack on Titan is just like I compare it to One Punch Man. I think One Punch Man is such a funny satire rendition of superheroes, but it's so beautifully done. But God bless you, they take forever to push out seasons, right? Same concept with Attack on Titan,
How long has it
and then
been how long has it been since the first season of Attack or One Punch Man?
oh man, I couldn't even tell you because
Uh,
season 2 was done
got
by a
you.
different developing studio, right? Because the first development studio of One Punch Man absolutely killed it. Like that the anime itself was
July
it just
2nd, 2019 was the last episode of One
oh
Punch
my
Man.
gosh. And it's 2022, so that's 3 years, right? If you look at
Yep.
Attack on Titan, right? Season 3, what was the release of that?
Season Attack on Titan season 3?
Yes, sir.
Attack on Titan season 3, let's see. July 1st, 2019.
2019. When did
Yep.
season 4 drop?
Season 4. December 7th,
7th, 2020.
2020. Yeah, so
Yep.
it was a year. Little,
Just about.
but then it's going on now April 4th, 2022, and they keep like what and
They keep pushing just end the anime. End it.
I'm not the biggest Attack on Titan fan, I will say this, but I do try to keep up enough with it. The one thing that I don't understand is maybe you can explain this to me is why did they everybody was saying like, "Oh, this is the last episode." That's what I felt. Like they were like, "Oh, this is the last episode." But now there's another episode.
But the English air date, by the way, was 2021.
Oh, okay, gotcha, gotcha,
So
gotcha.
Japanese air date was 2020, yeah, but the English air date was 2021, right?
So
um,
so 2 years pretty much in between.
almost 2 years, right? And maybe it's for development, maybe it's for, like, they wanna get everything under they
Did they
want
switch
everything squared
studios?
away.
Did Attack on
I
Titan
don't
switch studios?
I don't think so.
I was
I
about to say it
think they
looks
s
too good to like I feel like they've
I
had
think so
a
actually, I this season hold on, let me look. Attack on Titan.
yeah, I was about to say who made it? I don't see it doesn't tell me who what studio made it. Attack on Titan studio. Studio change.
Yes, it was a new studio.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
The
got you.
Maruyama Animation Produced Project Association is the ones who, made this last season.
Okay. So they did
So
have a
it used
studio
to be
change.
WIT, the original studio that animated the first 3 seasons, but, MAPPA's the one who took over for this last season. So there was a studio change, which could explain why it was so long, but I feel like you don't really hear about Attack on Titan, until it's, like, getting close to coming out.
I'm gonna be honest with
I
you.
don't know
For
how to
me,
explain it, man.
I lose interest, right? So
Well,
the
there's too
only
big of a
reason,
gap.
yeah, when there's too big of a gap, I lose interest. But also talking about like, the only reason like Shield Hero got pushed back and pushed back and pushed back, right? I just really love that anime, so I can see people who really really love Attack on Titan, like this is their anime. I can see them saying, but like it's so great though. But if you're not like the hardcore fan of a show, right? If you're just looking at anime subjectively, what other show or kind of show has these large gaps in
Exactly,
between? And especially
exactly.
like anime like I don't know, but I don't think Attack on Titan, I think it's digitally animated, right?
Like, when I do the review for One Piece, One Piece is, if it's one, regardless of
Consistent.
how you feel about it, is consistent.
Oh, all the
And
time.
the fillers, is there fillers? Yes, there's fillers in most animes, right? But the fillers about One Piece are actually very, they're important to the aspect because it ties in the background character stories and helps you understand the direction that it's going. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Oh, I look for
Versus like Naruto, their fillers would just go off somewhere, and it's like, okay, we're never going back there again,
while I
type
look
thing.
forward to your review on One Piece, I can assure you that I'll never watch it.
That's fair.
Shout out Kyle, dude. I'll never
It's
watch your anime, bro. Never
hey,
gonna happen.
it's hard. It's hard to get into at first, but it's something that
You
if you
watch
can
it for
get
2
past,
years straight and never get to the
well,
end.
think about when it came out too,
That's
though.
true.
Okay. So with that being said, people can hate it all they want. It's still getting a 4.2 out of 5. It's a great anime, but for the average consumer that requires that consistency, uh, I think that's where it's going to take the biggest thing.
Well, you guys can talk about it in the comments of the YouTube video or on Twitter or whatever you want to do. I think it's a good score. I've watched Attack on Titan, not all of it. I feel like 4.2 is pretty fair, right? It's I w- the show never really drew me in, right? Like cuz I'm really kind of like I don't really care about the drama stuff going on.
Right.
But I am changing because of Turk over here sending me some animes to watch and I've
Let's
started watching them.
go.
But I appreciate everybody for watching. Come back next Wednesday for episode 9, and then check on Friday, which is the 15th
Yes.
for April 15th for the Ghostwire Tokyo review going up on YouTube. And we'll probably talk about Ghostwire Tokyo on the next podcast, just giving you like a little opinion. If you don't really want to watch YouTube, we'll tell you what the score is. But I appreciate everybody watching. Love you so
Yes.
much. Turk,
Love you
anything to say
guys.
before we go?
Just thank you for letting me out of my corner
You're
today.
welcome. Get back in there. I'll
Let's
talk to you later, guys. Bye.